Hello and welcome back to our little F1 1991 season in Automobilista 2. Today we're here at Estoril for the final European round of this championship with the Portuguese Grand Prix. This could already be the race in which the Drivers' Championship will be decided, and Nigel Mansell has it all in his own hands. If he wins here, neither Senna or his teammate Patrese can catch him in the remaining two races after this one. We'll be competing as Ayrton Senna today, who had an absolutely disappointing season as he is yet to win a race. Still, Senna is not out of the championship mathematically, and we will try our best to stop Mansell from deciding the championship here on the very track where Senna won his first Formula 1 race in 1985. Just a little note here, this is recorded way in advance, just after the AMS2 update including Classic Estoril came out, and there was a bug in which the helmets for most of the drivers aren't showing, but that should not take away anything from a hopefully very exciting race here. And this is how we will be going into today's race ourselves, Ayrton Senna, starting from pole position, and the man who can decide the championship here, Nigel Mansell, is just alongside us. Then we have our teammate in third, Gerhard Berger, and then a brilliant qualifying for the Jordan outfit yesterday sees them start in 4th and 6th. They are separated by Modena with another great qualifying by the Italian yesterday. Then Riccardo Patrese only in 7th, so no good starting position for him. Roberto Moreno then 8th. Then we have Nakajima, Nelson Piquet. Very disappointing Saturday for the Ferrari drivers as Alesi starts in 11th. Morbidelli 12th. Then Brundle, Capelli, Gugelmin, Martini, Prost only in 17th. He had an absolutely dreadful qualifying session. Then we have Häkkinen, Blondell, Herbert, Boutsen, Caffi, Bernard, Comas, Suzuki and Michele Alboreto once again starting from 26th and last. And here we are on the grid, and we have an open road ahead of us, and it's lights out, and away we go for the 1991 Portuguese Grand Prix, and we get an absolutely dreadful start as Mansell has already taken the lead of this race, just like it was in the couple of last races when Senna always started from pole position, but the McLaren is just not good off the line. So Mansell has taken the lead once again in lap 1 already, and now we're even behind Andrea de Cesaris. Brilliant start for the two Jordans, as Gasho is currently battling Berger behind us, but now we already made it past the Italian in his Jordan into turn 3. And now we go to the Parabolica Interior, which is turn 6 of this very condensed but very fun to drive track, and very challenging track technically even, as Mansell is already pulling kind of a gap to us, which is not what we want to see at all, because as it is right now, Mansell would take the championship here already, so we want to stay as close as we can to him, to either beat him in the pits or what would even be better on the track. Of course, the spectators want to see it decided on the track, and we're giving our best so that is the case, and we're already starting lap 2, and the Jordans are placed absolutely brilliantly as they are running in 3rd and 5th, as we almost run into the back of Nigel Mansell into turn 1 here. As he was a little early on the brakes, I feel, because we were easily able to make it through there. Now turn 2, which is a wider line, and this is really a slow bit, but here I feel like we are faster than Mansell. On the straights, he has an absolutely massive advantage. You can see it here already towards turn 6. He is already pulling a gap on the straight despite us having the slipstream, but in the more technical bits the McLaren is just working a lot better than the Williams ahead of us. The weather today is very hot, and we can already feel that as our tires are a little overheating as we're running right through there. And a couple of laps later, we are still as close to Mansell as we were before, as we're just starting lap 5 of the Portuguese Grand Prix. We are able to go the same pace as the Brit ahead of us, and through turn 1 we go, and we're still looking for any chance. We have done that the last couple of laps where we are faster than him, and this corner here is one where we are faster, and we're trying to take alternate lines to maybe get the better exit. Now we try a dive bomb down the inside of Mansell, and we make it past at first glance, but then Mansell just does the cutback on us and counters our attack, and is still on the lead of this race. And once again now on the straight he is able to pull away, and this is quite a frustrating experience for us here, as well, the start, it just won't work for the McLarens, and now we're having it all to do here against a brilliantly driving Nigel Mansell, as once again we lock our front left tyres, and we just managed to stay out of the tyre wall or the tyre barrier there, and now we lost like 3-4 seconds, and we have the Cesaris and our teammate now just behind us. At least we managed to stay ahead of them, but for now we won't be able to battle Mansell anymore, and everything is just working brilliantly for the Williams driver at the beginning here of the Portuguese Grand Prix. And here we are seeing Bertrand Gachot. He's still running an exceptionally brilliant 5th in the second Jordan, of course his teammate in the podium spots, and he is currently holding up Riccardo Patrese, one of the other drivers that is fighting for the championship still, as we just see him go around the Parabolica, and he's getting slower. There's smoke coming out of his engine, and unfortunately that is Gachot out of this race, running in a brilliant 5th, so that has been it. And we're looking at Nigel Mansell, who is still pulling away even further from us as we are struggling with tyres, and he is coming around the Parabolica here as well, still in the lead. And now he is pulling into the pit lane, and he is stopping at the pit entry. Mansell is out of this race. And this means that we're now in the lead, and Gerhard Berger in the meantime has made it past Andrea de Cesaris, and it is a McLaren 1-2 here, but we're now very much struggling with our front tires as we have no grip in the flowing corners here of the Circuito do Estoril, and now Berger is trying to make it past us. Now he has lost position to the Cesaris. You are able to see that in our mirrors. The Cesaris now attacking us for the lead of this race. Jordan, can they win a race in only their first season in Formula 1? The Cesaris is looking like he is trying to do, and now he makes it past, and we decide that it is now time for us to go into the pits because our tires are absolutely cooked. We can't drive anymore with these tires, and this is only lap 14, so very early in this 35 lap race, and we even make contact with the wall as the grip is just too bad. We couldn't even do the pit entry there, and we see this is Nigel Mansell out of the race. He is waiting in his pit box, and there are some other cars also out of this race. Of course, Gachot we have seen, and also some of the backmarkers as we stop here for fresh tires. We are choosing a different tire set for this time and hope that maybe these can take us to the end, but it is unlikely. The track and the weather here is very hot, and we see that a lot of cars struggling engine-wise, and we have been struggling tire-wise as we come out just around somewhere in the midfield. And we were able to get rid of that March or Leighton-House that was ahead of us easily. But now we're having traffic, and this is not lapped traffic, but cars that we're actually behind of. Ahead of us, this is the Brabham of Martin Brundle, who is running a brilliant 10th for the very struggling Brabham team, to say the least. And now we're just behind them. He is having P9 just ahead of him. He's battling a Minardi, I think. This is Pierluigi Martini, who had a disappointing end to his brilliant race last time out in Monza. And this is not good for us at all, as we are racing virtually against the Cesaris and Berger, who were just behind us, or the Cesaris even just passed us ahead of our pit stop. Now our suspension is a little bent after that contact with the Armco, going into the pit lane, but not anything that is hampering our performance, as our outlap was pretty good and we were faster than the cars ahead. But now, as we're behind a Minardi and a Brabham, we can't go as quick anymore, and it is hard to pass at Estoril, which is a good thing in some scenarios, as well, it makes it a lot more interesting to battle cars on track. But for now it's very frustrating, and now we try to do the same with Brundle as we have tried with Mansell on lap 5, and this time it works. We make it past the Briton, and this time we even make it stick. Now of course the Minardi is gaining on us, ahead of us on the straight as well. We need to take care that Brundle isn't able to overtake us here, but we managed to stay ahead of the Brabham. And now trying to close the gap once again to the Minardi ahead of us, so that we have an open road ahead of us once more, so that we can actually use our fresh tires for good pace and good lap times, because right now the Cesaris and Berger are once again gaining on us, despite them battling heavily at the top. And now through the Parabolica we go, and this time it works pretty well. There's a Ligier. This is a lapped car that is in our way. We almost crash in the back of him, and now even the Minardi is faster on the straights than us. Marzini makes it past once more, and into turn 1 the Ligier lights us both past, and Marzini misses the apex, and finally we make it through and past the Italian again as well. And this is the battle at the top. I have been talking about it earlier. The Cesaris is really leading this race and fighting for the victory here in Estoril. What a crazy race it has been, as most of the favorites are struggling, and now it is a battle between the Cesaris and Berger. Berger also a very disappointing season so far, and now he tries to grab the lead against the Cesaris into turn 1, and he makes it past. And now they have Ivan Capelli, who is a lap down ahead of them. Is he letting them through? Yes. No. Yes. Now into turn 3 he is, and Berger manages to hold on to the lead, and maybe he can pull away from the Cesaris now. And a couple of laps later, Gerhard Berger came in for his pit stop, and the white car in the background, this is ourselves. So Berger comes out almost the entire pit straight ahead of us, which is very bad news for ourselves. So Berger with all the best chances to win here. But only 2 laps later, Berger comes in for a second time, and he didn't retire, but there must have been something wrong with his tires, so that he needed to get something fixed, so he's out of the lead as well. And this brings another man into contention for the victory. He has been closing up to the Cesaris, and now, with an earlier pit stop, he also came out ahead of us. You are able to see us in the background, and now Patrese is throwing his head in the ring as well. And a couple of laps after his pit stop, we are approaching the Italian, who currently sits second in the standings. So this duel here, as we are catching up to the Cesaris massively, who still hasn't pitted, and you will see we are the first 2 drivers that have already made their pit stops. Modena running in a brilliant 6th, so this here might be the battle for the race win here in Portugal. Despite it only being for 4th right now, it will later probably be for 1st. And not only that, it is also the battle of who is able to take the biggest advantage out of Mansell's DNF result today, as we're both trailing Mansell in the championship. And we could both use these 10 points to not only delay Mansell's championship decision, but to maybe even get back into contention. And for for Senna, it would be, of course, their first race win. I have said it earlier, he hasn't won a race this season at all, and now we are battling Riccardo Patrese, and we can't keep up with him. Our tires are still feeling great, so we have got a great tire set here. It is still not clear if we make it to the end, so Patrese still with great chances, even if we make it past, to win this race and to close the gap to his teammate in the championship. The experienced Italian, that would be kind of a story. He has been kind of in the background for the entire season, but he might just step up to take or to fight for the crown in the right moment here. Now, through the first part of this track, this is where we're usually quicker, and like it was with Mansell, it is here as well, and into turn 3, we try a daring move. Patrese sees us as he missed the apex there a little bit, and we slip through. Now, through turn 4, Curva VIP, we go, and now this is, of course, a critical bit here. The second longest straight on the track, the back straight, as we can see it in our mirror. Patrese with a lot more speed than us here, and into the Parabolica interior. He makes it past us again. So Patrese has taken the virtual race lead here back. And now we try around the outside. This is, of course, the corner where our race almost ended dramatically in lap 5, but we are still fighting for it, and we are still close to Patrese, who had a little twitchy back there out of the S's. And now we are going round the Parabolica once more, and Patrese choosing a wide line, a little too wide for our liking, and we slip through the inside, and Mansell and Senna takes back fourth from Patrese, but now Patrese maybe with the chance and his faster car and the slipstream to try and attack us into turn 1, but turn 1 is coming up, the braking zone is just there, and we manage to stay ahead of Riccardo Patrese. Brilliant racing between the two of them, and Senna now in the virtual race lead. And we are looking at Stefano Modena, who is looking at his first points finish of the season after some great qualifying performances yesterday as well. He might now finally take the first points for Tyrrell this season as well. And now he retires as well. Also car issues. And now we're looking at Nelson Piquet, whose race also has dramatically changed. He was battling Andrea De Cesaris for what will, after their pit stops, be P3, so podium spot, but he has been getting slower and slower the last couple of laps, and now he also retires finally. And after a Portuguese Grand Prix full of exhaustion and heat, Ayrton Senna now coming around the final corners to end his winless streak in 1991. He is going to win the first time this season and throws his head back into the ring for the championship. Ayrton Senna takes at what at one point looked like a very unlikely victory. He takes the win in Portugal, and look how happy he is about that. And Patrese finishes second, so these two take the championship to Japan, and maybe from there they are able to even take it into the final round of the championship. And now let's look at our point scorers for today. Ayrton Senna wins the Portuguese Grand Prix, as we have seen. Patrese finishes 4.3 seconds down in P2. An absolutely brilliant race for the Cesaris. The strategy was probably a bit wrong. A good recovery drive for the two Ferrari drivers as they take advantage of the many high-profile retirees today, as they finish 4th and 5th. And exceptionally, Martin Brundle takes a point for the struggling Brabham team, as he was also able to take advantage of the many retirees today. And this is how the Drivers' Championship looks like after this round of the Formula 1 World Championship. Mansell's lead has shrunk to 12 points over Patrese, and only 1 point further behind is Ayrton Senna. So if either of the two wins in Japan, that means that we will see a championship decider in Adelaide in Australia for the final round of the season. But of course that also means that if Mansell wins in Japan, he will take the championship there. So a very exciting end to this championship still, when it looked like a runaway championship after the the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. So I think we can be excited for that. Then in 4th we have Prost, he's out of the championship fight. Then in 5th, PK, a lazy 6th. The Cesar is 7th, he overtakes Gerhard Berger in the standings, who only climbed up to 7th in the end. Mika Häkkinen is 9th, then Gasho, Martini, Moreno, and Martin Brundle, our final point scorer, with his 1 point he scored for finishing 6th today. And then we have Nakajima, Morbidelli, Modena, Boutsen and Blundell. They are sorted by their highest finish of the season. And for the Constructors' Championship, that means that Williams is still in 1st and they won't be able to be caught in the final 2 races. So Williams has won the Constructors' Championship, but that was no surprise. McLaren overtakes Ferrari for 2nd, and then we have Benetton in 4th, Jordan in 5th, then 6th is Lotus, Minardi with 2 points in 7th, and Brabham with their 1 point they scored today sit in 8th. And that has been it for the Portuguese Grand Prix 1991, and what an exciting race it has been. And let's hope that the Japanese Grand Prix will be just as exciting as the one today, with all of the twists and turns we have seen. I'm still not quite over it. And yeah, subscribe to not miss how this championship will play out in the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all the next time. That was it from me. Bye bye.